Welcome to the Deep Dive. This week, we're taking a closer look at the really remarkable pace of AI advancements from just one single week, actually, June 21st to June 27th, 2025.
Yeah.
Our mission today, as always, is to kind of distill what truly matters from this, rapidly evolving landscape. Just help you stay well-informed on the crucial developments. We've got a pretty fascinating lineup today. We'll explore some groundbreaking new creative tools, things changing how we generate content, and powerful productivity enhancements that could really redefine your daily workflow. And also actually a pretty crucial new study that's raising some, let's say, important questions about AI's long-term impact on our own brains.
Yeah, this period really does stand out. It showcases both the, astonishing potential of AI, but also these emerging considerations we really need to be mindful of. It really underscores just how diverse and impactful the developments are right now, happening across, so many sectors of AI.
Okay, so let's unpack this. First up, we're seeing some incredible strides in how AI helps us create visual content. And kind of leading the charge here seems to be Midjourney V1 Video. This is Midjourney's first official video generation model.
Right, their first foray into video.
Yeah, and its core function is basically animating still images, turning them into like 5-second video clips.
5 seconds, yeah. Short, but significant.
It is. And it's web-based, offers both automatic and manual animation features, so you get some creative control over motion, camera effects, that kind of thing. Now, while 5 seconds might seem short, it's being really highly praised for its ease of use and the focus on creative storytelling. It feels like a clear step towards Midjourney's sort of broader vision, maybe, like real-time, open-world AI simulations down the line. But what do you think? Is there a bigger strategic play here beyond just quick clips?
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly it. This isn't just about, 5-second animations. It feels like Midjourney is building a kind of foundational layer for these more dynamic, interactive environments. Imagine, like you said, prompting an entire world, not just a static image. So this 5-second clip, simple as it might seem, it's kind of their public statement, right? Like, hey, we're moving into generative reality and we're making it intuitive. It positions them not just as an image tool, but maybe as a potential architect for like the raw materials of the metaverse by making these complex tasks super accessible.
That makes sense. And okay, so from generating brand new visuals, we often need to refine them, right? Polish them up. And that's where this Higgsfield new AI canvas comes in. It promises to make those perfect edits without all the usual hassle.
Yeah, I saw this one, the Photoshop killer buzz.
Right, it's an AI-powered image editing tool. And yeah, some people are already calling it that, a Photoshop killer. It allows for apparently high-realism edits using incredibly simple prompts, things like replacing objects or, removing distractions in a photo. And here's the kicker, I think. It's directly in your browser. No sign-up needed.
Super low friction then.
Exactly. It's clearly targeted at, say, creators, marketers, people who need fast, precise, realistic edits but don't want to get bogged down in like the complexity of traditional software. But still, Photoshop killer, that's a bold claim. From your perspective, is it really a killer or is it more like a specialized, maybe highly efficient tool for a particular niche?
Well, it's definitely disruptive, no doubt, especially for, say, marketers needing those quick, realistic tweaks, fast turnarounds. But killer implies, a full replacement. And Photoshop's depth, its whole ecosystem for complex layering, graphic design, that remains pretty much untouched, I'd say. If we connect this to the bigger picture, though, tools like Canvas, they truly democratize that final polish stage for a really broad audience. It significantly expands who can achieve those high-fidelity edits rather than, replacing the foundational toolset for seasoned professionals. It's more about broadening access.
Okay, that's a good distinction. And it's not just 2D images and short videos either.
Yeah.
We're also seeing leaps in 3D content generation. What about what Tencent has done? Their open source 3D model releases.
Ah, yes, the Hunyuan 3D stuff.
That's the one. They've released 5 open source 3D generative models, all based on their Hunyuan 3D 2.0 tech. These models are designed to rapidly convert text and images into pretty high-quality 3D assets.
And quickly, right, I saw something about a turbo series?
Yeah, exactly. They have a turbo series that can apparently generate models in as little as 30 seconds. It's just kind of mind-blowing.
Wow, okay.
And the upgraded creation engine has features like multi-view input, intelligent model reduction, broad format compatibility, all the technical goodies. This feels like a potential game changer for designers, game developers, UGC creators, just making 3D content creation faster and way more accessible.
Absolutely. This whole creative wave, it really underscores how AI is becoming this like indispensable partner for visual and immersive content. It's drastically cutting down on the time, the expertise that you traditionally needed. It seriously lowers the barrier to entry for these complex creative things, allowing, individuals to become 3D creators in ways that were just unimaginable before without tons of training and extensive software.
Yeah, the democratization aspect keeps coming up. Okay, let's shift gears. Moving from the creative studio to maybe the everyday office or workflow, how is AI reshaping how we work, making our day-to-day, our meetings, our coding just more efficient? This is where it gets really interesting for productivity, I think.
The practical application.
Right, so OpenAI has rolled out ChatGPT Record Mode. This is available for ChatGPT Pro, Enterprise, and Edu users.
On the Mac desktop app specifically.
On the Mac desktop app, yes. And this feature lets you basically record conversations, meetings, even brainstorming sessions.
Yeah.
And then it provides automatic transcription and summarization.
That's huge.
It is. And it can even apparently extract key points, action items, maybe even generate follow-up code snippets. It seems like it could seriously streamline note-taking.
Yeah.
But for you, looking at this space, what's maybe the most surprising or impactful use case you can envision for something like this? Something we might not have considered yet.
That's a good question. Well, beyond the obvious, time savings on meeting summaries, I'm thinking about the qualitative shift it could bring. Like, imagine a design review. The AI isn't just summarizing what was said, but maybe it's cross-referencing specific moments with earlier decisions documented elsewhere, or perhaps even flagging potential conflicts with project requirements automatically during the meeting.
Oh, interesting, like real-time analysis.
Exactly. It could turn passive listening into this active AI-assisted critical analysis. It's more than just notes. And funnily enough, I actually heard a developer joking online about how this finally made them clean up their desktop.
So?
Well, they realized half their local server files were just, remnants of past projects, digital dust bunnies they didn't need anymore because the AI could potentially handle connections better. It's a small thing, but it speaks to how these tools can subtly reduce that mental overhead,
That's a great anecdote. And speaking of developers, Anthropic's Claude Code now supports remote modular control point, MCP servers.
Right, the MCP server support.
Yeah. What this means, maybe in simple terms, is it allows for much more seamless integration with third-party tools and data sources.
Okay.
So, for instance, developers can connect Claude Code to services like, say, Sentry for error tracking or Linear for project management. They can get real-time context and even take actions directly within their coding environment.
So pulling data in and pushing actions out.
Exactly. And this significantly reduces the need, apparently, for managing local servers for these integrations and just improves workflow efficiency. How does this kind of deeper integration really change the day-to-day for a developer?
Well, for developers, it means a significantly smoother environment. Just fewer friction points, right? It allows for more fluid interaction with their whole tool chain. It becomes less about managing your local setup, fiddling with configurations, and more about actually focusing on the problem you're trying to solve.
Right. More focused time.
Exactly. And this isn't just about speed, though speed is part of it. It's also about reducing the cognitive load, allowing developers to kind of stay in that creative flow state without breaking concentration to go pull data from 5 different places. It's subtle, maybe, but powerful for enhancing how code gets written and managed. It impacts developer happiness, output quality, all that stuff.
Makes perfect sense. Okay, and what if finding information itself could be simpler? Like just having a voice conversation. Google has introduced an experimental Search Live AI mode.
Ah, the voice search experiment.
Yeah, it's a Search Live feature within their AI mode. It lets mobile users search using actual voice conversations, not just commands, but back and forth.
Powered by Gemini, I believe.
A
custom version.
That's right, a custom Gemini model. And it can apparently keep running in the background too. Gives you both audio responses, so it talks back, and web links if you want to dig deeper. Plus, there's a transcript feature that saves your conversations in your history, which is handy. And they're promising future updates will add camera-based search capabilities too. Visual search meets conversational search.
Wow.
What are the broader implications here? If voice search shifts from just simple queries to these more dynamic dialogues, how does that change user behavior, do you think?
Oh, I think it transforms how we might interact with information profoundly, potentially. It's less about typing these, rigid keywords into a box and more about having a dynamic dialogue. It brings us much closer to that idea of a truly conversational AI assistant for just finding stuff out.
Like talking to an expert.
Exactly, like talking to an expert who can not only answer your immediate question, but maybe anticipate your next one or guide you through related information really seamlessly. It changes the whole cognitive burden of information seeking, potentially, makes it more natural, more intuitive.
Very interesting. And underpinning a lot of this productivity, a lot of these new features, we're seeing some really impressive developments in the large language models themselves, the LLMs.
Yeah.
From China, the AI company Minimax has unveiled its M1 model and AI
The
agent.
ZMAX, right. They've been making waves.
Yeah, so the M1 model is apparently a massive 456 billion parameter LLM, and it uses something called hybrid attention.
Okay, 456 billion is substantial.
It is. And what seems remarkable is it's optimized for long context reasoning. They're saying up to 1 million tokens, and also for tool use.
1 million tokens. That's a huge context window.
It really is. It's also apparently notable for its low training costs and high efficiency. Minimax is claiming it outperforms many competitors in benchmarks for software, math, general reasoning.
Big claims again.
Very big claims. And along with the M1 model, they also released an open source general AI agent that's powered by M1. It features modular workflows, advanced productivity capabilities, really positioning it to rival leading Western models. But let's go back to that million tokens. That's such a leap. What does that kind of long context capability truly unlock for like real world applications?
Yeah, that million token context is a significant leap. It means these models can essentially remember and process vastly more information all at once. So think about, say, a legal professional feeding an entire case brief or maybe multiple complex contracts into the model and then asking really nuanced questions about the whole thing.
Right, without breaking it into tiny chunks.
Exactly. Or researchers analyzing entire scientific papers, maybe multiple papers, identifying patterns, synthesizing insights across hundreds of pages in basically one go. It just opens up possibilities for incredibly complex tasks, for real-time assistance across diverse domains where you need to understand a large body of text. It fundamentally changes how we might interact with large amounts of information.
Okay, so we've covered all this incredible progress. Creating stunning visuals, streamlining our work in really powerful ways. But as AI becomes more and more integrated into our lives, it definitely raises an important, maybe more reflective question we need to consider.
The other side of the coin.
Yeah. A new MIT study has come out, and it's warning about the potential negative impact of ChatGPT's long-term use on our brain function.
Right. I saw the headlines on this one. It caused a bit of a stir.
It did. The study reported findings showing decreased neural connectivity and also poor memory recall among participants who use ChatGPT heavily compared to those who use traditional writing methods. The setup involved participants who relied on ChatGPT for essay writing over, I think it was 4 months, and they exhibited measurably different cognitive engagement patterns afterwards. What do these findings really mean for us, do you think, beyond just the slightly scary headlines?
Well, it certainly raises a crucial question, doesn't it? While AI offers this immense convenience, this power, we do need to be mindful of how deeply it integrates into our own cognitive processes. Our brains are incredibly adaptive, right? They optimize. So if we consistently offload certain mental tasks like organizing thoughts for writing or even recalling information, this study seems to suggest our brains might adapt by, well, reducing the resources, the neural pathways dedicated to those specific tasks.
So basically, use it or lose it applied to cognitive functions.
Kind of, yeah. It's not necessarily about saying AI is bad for our brains, full stop, but it's about understanding the trade-offs. It suggests we need to be conscious about actively engaging our own cognitive functions, especially in areas like critical thinking, learning, memory formation, even as we leverage AI. It's a really critical area for ongoing research, definitely. And it reminds us that convenience, it often comes with a responsibility to understand the deeper impact.
Yeah, that's really well put. It's not about stopping progress, is it? But more about understanding the full implications, both the positive, which are huge, but also the potentially challenging ones. As we continue to lean on these incredibly powerful tools, it's about being informed, being thoughtful about how we integrate them into our lives, our work, our learning.
Exactly. And this past week alone, as we've discussed, it just shows the sheer speed of AI innovation across creativity, productivity, even fundamental LLM capabilities with things like that million token context. But yeah, it also surfaces these crucial cognitive considerations we can't ignore. These advancements are just rapidly reshaping how we interact with technology, with knowledge itself. It's happening fast.
It really is. And that leads to a final thought, maybe for you, the listener, to consider. As these AI tools become increasingly seamless, almost feeling like an extension of our own minds, how do we make sure we're still nurturing our unique human capacities? Things like critical thinking, deep memory, original thought. How do we protect and grow those even as we embrace the immense power and, let's face it, the convenience of artificial intelligence? It's definitely a question worth reflecting on. Maybe consider how these tools might be impacting your own learning, your own work habits already, and what personal boundaries or practices might be valuable to adopt as AI continues its rapid evolution.